And as usual, the turning down of the music does mean that we are almost ready to go. Hello everyone. Yep, it's my annoying voice again. And we are here for the Coral River League side of this time. The spring 2022 season. It's gonna be an absolute banger. I believe it was Fuji Assassins actually who stopped Girl from going like lossless.
It was indeed
last season. So it is going to be a pretty big game, pretty big game for both teams.
Yeah.
But
Hi friends. Sorry, I've stopped his introduction, but yeah, I'm here. Hampy's here. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. Like I said before, I've updated some more graphics so you can stream. You can see a new background, a new border, new team screens. It's all coming together. Atomica.
Yeah, it is indeed. We are slowly but surely becoming more and more anime as the seasons go on. Where can one see the standings? Lord Lighties, if you are in the Discord, you should be able to see a channel called Standings, which I do believe are currently up to date. I hope so. I haven't checked myself personally, but there should be a Standings channel. They accidentally went into the real draft, not the fake draft that we'd set.
Yeah. Preston's smoking crack.
Understandable. But yeah, there should be a channel called Standings somewhere.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, rosters and standings. There it is.
Rosters and standings. It's just where it said the CLJU League. It's under the schedule, so you can find it there.
There you go.
Lovely, you found it. Brilliant.
For Fuji Assassins. Yes, you can indeed, sir. All done, and we are we're hopefully soon going to get into the draft. Obviously, both teams are no worries. Both teams are just getting into the lobby, getting all into shape, and everything like that. So
yeah, are you excited for this game, Steve? You got any
predictions? I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good old 1-1. I know Girl loves their 1-1s. But maybe you know what, Fuji Assassins are looking quite strong. You know, they have, well, with the new I should say the new changes to the regulations, as they would say in Formula 1. To the River League does allow 2 platinum players, and Fuji Assassins have taken that very well. They have two new platinum players, so they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fuji Assassins have got a new roster, I believe. Like you said, like pretty much brand new, other than Maid Kitsune, I believe, was there before. Is that right?
Yeah, Maid Kitsune and Kekying. That's Arctic Chaos, isn't it?
Lovely. There we go then. But yeah, no, I mean, one thing to mention is that Girl are bringing back a new gimmick, new season, new gimmick. It wouldn't be Girl without bringing a new gimmick. So we may as well tell them. Unless
shall we? No, they probably want to keep it a surprise.
I'll message Preston and ask.
And see if we can say it on stream. Yeah. But new season, new gimmick. That's why I think it's going to be a 1-1. You know, the gimmick, especially against a team that are looking as strong as Fuji Assassins, is going to be pretty hard to pull off. But as for now, we are heading into the draft phase. I forgot I'm not on studio mode, and I forgot to put the draft music on. Keck. There is always some things that go wrong.
How dare you, sir?
Let me get that sorted for you. Because to be honest, right, I find the draft music for CoraL really fucking good, as Zeri is banned away. Where is it? Music. There it is. And that is the first ban. So, what do you think about that, Hampy? The Zeri ban.
Predictable. I mean, the guy's name is literally Zeri, so I mean, makes sense. But even if it wasn't, like, if someone had had to pilot the champion, especially with an enchanter like a Lulu or a Karma, it can be quite difficult to play against, really. But Fuji Assassins were playing right back with another ADC ban, banning away the Jhin. Jhin, probably one of the stronger ADCs in the current meta, and again, can be very, very useful in quite a lot of comps, really, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got the Aurelia coming up next. I know personally that is pretty much O'Neill's permaban. Absolutely despises Aurelia, and I think a lot of people do. Quite an annoying champion to come up against, especially if that champ managed to get a snowball lead. Then it's a pain, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fuji Assassins following that Aurelia ban with a Nautilus ban. Quite a lot of these bans being focused towards the bot lane. I think Fuji Assassins may have done their homework, thinking that they can try and cut off one avenue for Girl to play through. Nautilus, obviously, I would say one of the strongest supports right now. You know, really nice engage. Glacial Augment as well, the changes to Glacial Augment. I'm pretty sure that you will have discussed it last stream, but, you know, you provide CC and then you take less damage is pretty stupid right now, especially on Nautilus' survivability is incredible. Lulu and Lissandra also banned away, so Lissandra obviously a ban against Preston, very well known for his Lissandra, and was very vocal about it in stream chat last time.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Nort, realistically, I think the Nort's just a good ban for anyone. I know Shmugu plays it quite a lot, but it's just a staple pick in any comp, realistically. You wanted to get lock CC. But speaking of CC, we see a Pike being locked in first. So, interesting pick, and I think we can say the gimmick as it gets more into the game. Because,
it may be quite obvious.
Yeah,
I think what the gimmick may be.
We'll wait a few more picks, and we'll let you guys know what the gimmick is. But a support being replied right back, and that's a Soraka being locked in Fuji Assassins. I think Soraka's got a pretty high win rate in solo queue right now.
Yeah.
And Soraka is just a nuisance really to deal with, but because the consistent heals and consistent just keeping teams alive is very, very annoying. We do see a Jinx being hovered, which isn't a shock to me, really, Atomica. Jinx is pretty much a staple pick in competitive play right now, especially across any elo, realistically, because Jinx is just the strongest ADC currently.
Yeah, absolutely. The Q, I think it was ever since the change that the Q scaled with, the Q attack range scaled with level up, really made Jinx a lot more prevalent, a lot more easier to handle, a lot more easier to pilot, and just overall created a extremely rough scenario as Blitzcrank and Thresh, the double hooks,
yes,
triple hooks.
I think we can probably tell the gimmick right now. So basically, the gimmick of Girl is that what is happening. I'm sure they won't care me telling this at this point because it's pretty obvious. They are rolling a dice, and if it's 1, they get top. If it's 2, they get jungle. 3 mid. 4
ADC
support. ADC, sorry, 5 support. I got my mixed up then. But yeah, and that basically means that they get to pick for the whole team. So they will pick supports for this game essentially.
5 supports.
And then 5 supports, and then if they rolled 4, they pick 4 ADCs, and if the 5 ADCs, and if they rolled a 1, they pick 5 top laners.
But
pretty much speaks for itself. But that being said, if anyone's going to perform a gimmick well and do it well, it's going to be Girl.
Yep, true indeed. And honestly, I think Girl have drafted really well, considering that the Soraka was obviously that Fuji Assassin obviously looked at the first Pike pick and thought, oh, that Pike's going support. They're going to pick Soraka, but now they've picked 2 extra hook champions. Soraka is not going to have a fun time at all. Even with the set, the set mathematically correct set, I'm pretty sure if you watch anything, set can blow anyone up.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the last stream. Set just essentially towards the late game in the second game, just realistically just 2 one-shot, 2 important carries. So as he gets into it and he manages to perform, if he gets a good haymaker, then it can cause problems. But one thing that was mentioned in the chat, which I thought is definitely worth mentioning, is that it'd be good to potentially flex a Soraka, put it mid lane, and pick a Morgana support, which to me almost works, because you look at how many hook champions and how much CC Girl are running, that just essentially shuts down that entirety of that.
The issue, though, obviously the Morgana will have to play a lot more further back, can't get herself caught out.
Sure, for sure.
And if the Morgana, obviously not, I'm not going to say if the Morgana's bad, but obviously if the Morgana isn't as experienced at that sort of extremely defensive positioning where your your majority of utility in the game is to use that black shield on your carry, it's a very rough time for Fuji Assassins, because with Soraka mid, you're not really diversifying your damage. You're mainly relying on this Jinx and this set double AD against, well, what can only be assumed as to be at least two quite tanky supports in Thresh and Blitzcrank, as Olaf
For sure.
is locked in.
Yeah, I quite like the Olaf pick here, Atomica. I mean, we all know that Olaf's ult is unstoppable, and if you're looking at Girls Comp, you know that they're just going to lay a CC. I mean, they're going to have 5 supports. So I think the Olaf is a really good pick here. It allows him to essentially get onto a carry, whether the Pyke gets fed, and, you know, Pyke is quite a slippy champion, but if you can avoid CC, with the Zyra being locked in as well, the Olaf pick just shines through a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that being said, speaking of Zyra, Zyra is locked in. Zyra is a extremely annoying champ because of the amount of poke and CC she can lay, and also on top of the burn with the Leandras you will build in the late game, it can cause a lot of problems for the tankier champions here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just Zyra in general is probably, I would say, the most annoying champion in the game. The plants take at least 2 auto attacks to kill, so in the early game, you're with the slower attack speed, you're going to take a lot of chunk damage. Even in the late game with her ult on top, they still take 3 auto attacks to kill. And on top of that, the fact that multiple of them can sprout at the same time, you know, with the ultimate, and it's such a big area, the amount of control that Girl have in their composition, the amount of zone control that they have, is very scary. Despite the fact that Fuji Assassins can obviously just run straight through them and heal straight through it now, thanks to the Vladimir that is locked in. You know, it's still a very scary proposition that Girl can completely deny them access to anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, realistically, looking at Girls Comp, it's going to be very reliant on this Pyke, or maybe even the Thresh ADC getting a lead. But then Zyra also can carry if she gets enough items, but it's not really a champ you see necessarily snowball. So I do think it's quite reliant on this champ. And now, despite the hooks, like they do have a sort of short, like long range comp with the hooks and the ability to CC with Zyra. But my issue for Girl is whether they can hold off till late game, because yes, you have the Zyra, yes, you have the Cillian, and Thresh will just stack items. But you have a Vladimir against you, and a Jinx, and a Set. And Olaf does fall off at a point, but with the Raka as well, which is just going to consistently heal more in the late game, I wonder whether it'll be a struggle if Girl actually managed to make it to that point.
I mean, it may even be the case of that Girl get into the late game, you know, I mean, whether they actually focus this Olaf or they just think, right, okay, Olaf is... really not I wouldn't say a non-factor, but if they get rid of the Soraka, then the Olaf becomes a little bit more bearable. Vladimir becomes that little bit more bearable. I mean, the entire team becomes a little bit more bearable, I should really say. So maybe the focus won't be on the guy that can unstoppable all their CC. It may be on that support, on that AD carry, because realistically, there's not much peel for Jinx, really.
There's not a whole lot of appeal realistically. I mean, the only thing I can think of is you just got the Set, but then Set's just going to consistently try to ult in to try and get a good Haymaker and E off as well, realistically. So I can't see it happening, but I do expect an AP Blitzcrank coming out here, Steve-O, so I'm assuming that's probably going to be quite a lot of damage on that point.
If you get hooked, Chuck, I mean, it rhymes. It's kind of... nice that it rhymes. If you get hooked, then you are a specific Anglo-Saxon term that I can't say on stream.
For sure. I mean, I wonder if this will be Zyra top. I know he's mentioned in chat, but I would want to mention this as well, because O'Neal loves Zyra, and O'Neal loves playing unorthodox picks in the top lane. So I am maybe expecting, and I'm going to try to predict this, Zyra top.
Okay.
Pyke jungle.
Ooh. Okay.
Thresh ADC. Blitzcrank mid and Zillion support.
Oh.
Now, they could switch that. Could be Blitzcrank support and Zillion mid. But that could be a thing. And it is the Zyra top.
Yeah, it is indeed. So I'm going to say, well, now that I know Zyra top, I think it's going to be Zyra top, Blitzcrank jungle, Zillion
You're going to
mid,
think it's a Blitz jungle?
Thresh, Pike bot lane. I think Blitz has because of his static passive, I think it's where you attack him or he like auto attacks and it does more damage.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out in a second, Atomica. We're gonna find out in a minute
who it is. Holy shit, Pike jungle!
I was right. Let's go.
That is extremely based. That is.
Let's go.
I'm very happy
mid.
about this.
So
yeah,
I was
mid.
right. I was right on the second one.
But
I was
wrong.
right on the second one.
It had to be. It
Yeah.
had to be Zillion mid. That's the only place that you can go. But the double hook bot lane with no Morgana, no real win, is just disgusting.
Well, I got 4 out of 5 right, so I'm taking that.
Especially if Zadator or Shmugu, who is an unfortunate substitute, well, a substitute that had been brought in thanks to the fact that one of the girl players cannot play. If one of them goes Glacial Augment...
He's out of country currently, so doesn't have a PC.
No PC allowed. Can't play on airport Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If one of them goes Glacial Augment, then that is going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
Because they
for
can't
sure,
move.
yeah. For sure. Move. I mean, I'm going to expect a Shirelli. Oh, no, I'm going to expect... Do you reckon Shmugu's going to build Shirelli's here? Can I feel like it has to be done? For me.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the move speed from Zillion, you're going to have the move speed from the Shirelli's as well. But, like I said before, and I'll reiterate this again, is that this Pike is going to be very reliant on this Pike to carry this game. Now, I know they do have a Zillion, I know they do have a Zyra, but realistically, if you're going to look at a champ that's going to be able to do a lot in team fights and win a team fight, the Pike ultimate just speaks wonders. Yeah. And I wonder how Fuji Assassins are going to counteract that. Now, Pike jungle is very weak in the early game in the jungle. His clear isn't fantastic. I've played it a fair bit myself. Although it's super fun to play, it's also quite a pain, especially in the early levels.
I mean,
yeah. If I was Michael Jackson, I would be trying to look to invade this girl in this Pike in the early game.
Well, yeah, Pike doesn't really have much damage. I mean, in the early game, I guess at support he's kind of annoying, but that is because at ADC your base stats are terrible, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas if he tries to 1v1 Olaf, especially with Olaf's built-in lifesteal, I don't think he's going to do very well.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's got this composition by Girl. I know it's a gimmick, I know it's a meme, but it definitely can work. It's just got to require a lot of sort of what's the word? Coordination.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're completely right on that point, and the issue is Girl, if they fall behind, I wonder how they get back into this game. Now, the one good thing to remember is that Girl do have a lot of pick potential here. They have so much potential to lay a CC and pick the important carries down. Like you said before, Atomica, like, I don't know how they'll peel for this Jinx for Fuji Assassins, because if the Pike can get a lead, then the Pike will pretty much one-shot this Jinx. I am expecting... I'm going to call him Natrix. I know it's I1 type, but he's always Natrix. Natrix will more than likely... That's his new name, by the way, guys, if you didn't know. New account. Natrix will more than likely be looking to use Halo Blades, I assume. I'm going to assume, because it's pretty much the rune you take on Pike.
It may be Predator.
It could be Predator if he wants to go for the ganks, but, I mean, if he's looking to fight the Jinx and one-shot the Jinx, then I'm going to assume it's going to be
Halo
Blades. Yeah. But I think there's going to be a lot of roaming this game, and there should be, rightly so, especially from Shmugu on the Blitzcrank. And I think one thing's definitely for certain, Atomica, there's going to be an invade.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I think you're wrong. anyone that bets against an invade when they see Pike Thresh Blitzcrank is
Now, how do you
you're
set up
confirming
against
you're
this
in
if you're
cuckoo
Fuji
land.
Assassins, though?
You just
How do you set up against this?
I think you just either you don't counter invade or you just death push it. I think really because there's only so many hooks.
True, there is so many hooks, but then you say that there's 3 hooks, so
I mean,
there's a lot of potential for it to miss. And you got to mention as well, Zabator might start E for the AD damage.
I mean, as well, Set if they really wanted, they can death push, and then Set can flash E. If they like it, because of how the invade will work, it'll be like they'll all stack on top of the Blitzcrank, the entirety of Girl. Set flash E, and that's a 5-man stun. And then
True. True. It is, but it's a lot harder to pull off than the invade coming from Girl.
Oh yeah, but or maybe you just ward. I mean, maybe you just ward the entrances and go to lane, and then you can see what they're doing. Maybe
it's gonna be difficult.
That's the plan. And if the stream crashes, that's because my PC is bad. If it doesn't, then my PC is good.
I'm just really curious. I'm really intrigued to see how this game goes.
I think it will be very good.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see how it goes. Let's quickly run through the runes and the summoner spells. Nothing too out of the ordinary other than bot lane on the side of Girl have opted for the heal and the ignite rather than the exhaust. And on the opposite side, the Soraka has opted for the exhaust and Jinx obviously the heal. Now, nothing's really different. It was the Halo Blades and the Pike as well. I was completely right. Shmugu has actually taken Electrocute, though. So it is the AP Blitzcrank. It's going to be the AP Blitzcrank.
Why do I feel like there's one more thing I have to do? Oh, yeah.
What time are you on, by the way?
I'm on 13. I'm loaded in.
15, 16, 17,
Yeah. We
18.
are still in conjunction, yeah.
Poggers.
Oh, nice! If anyone can see this on the stream, then this is very cool. The red side is slightly off the side, which makes me angry.
Yeah, so me and Gablet noticed this as well. I think it's a spectate bug currently, which is kind of annoying. But here's the invade. There is a ward that they're going to get spotted out on, though. So
yeah,
that's a pretty smart ward there. I believe that is from the Olaf. So well done from Michael Jackson there, spotting that ward. And then we'll get spotted another one from Kitsune as well. Yeah, so actually really good vision control there from Fuji Assassins. I believe Girl probably knew they weren't going to get anything from that, but you know, it's definitely worth the effort. But yeah, so far good vision control from Girl to prevent that. No, Fuji Assassin, sorry.
Yeah, really smart positioning of the wards. You know, warding where hook champions tend to check, or where people always tend to check, in case there was someone watching the entrance in that bush. And the second bush, I believe it was from Zeri, actually, rather than Maid Kitsune.
Sure.
In that other entrance to witness them leave. So Olaf knows now, or I should say Michael Jackson knows now, that his entire bot side is completely fine and that he can go there and not be really under any danger. But you see here now, Shmugu already looking straight away as for a hook, but
yeah, they tried to set up the early cheese death brush in the bot side, but Fuji Assassins played it pretty well and opted to go the long way around. I think that's a clever way to look, considering they didn't even have the leash for the Olaf either. Now, Olaf is already invading the Pike on his Gromp currently, so this could be a bit of trouble here, Steve-O. Directed Cam has not switched to it, but I do believe that Olaf actually managed to get that already, so that is a really difficult situation for Natrix right now. Preston may look to roam, but he could lose a massive wave if he does. He's going to look to roam, so Michael Jackson could get caught out here. Pike does have his E up. He's away. As Ignite goes down onto Michael Jackson. The bomb's down as well, but Vladimir's here as well. The hook does land to make it to the ball, and the Ignite goes down instantly. He falls very, very quickly. Pike will die here as well, and unfortunately to Michael Jackson as he falls to the auto attack of the axe. And the bot lane is going well, but the jungle matchup isn't. And I think we maybe saw that coming, Steve-O.
Yeah, Pike, as you said during the Champions or the draft, that Pike jungle not the strongest, but you know, gotta bring it back. Zabator obviously has been learning from Zoe, The American sniper managing to really thread the needle onto Maid Kitsune there, and the kill follow up to get the first blood, especially before Natrix died. So that's really big because that stops obviously 100 extra gold going on to Michael Jackson, and Natrix can almost breathe a sigh of relief that his opposition doesn't have a plus, an even bigger lead than he could have.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I do want to mention, though, Tomica, is the CS difference in the bot lane. Zabator is convincingly above Zeri here in this bot side, and I think it's just the pressure of the hooks, but there is a fight in the top lane from O'Neal. The Haymaker can come down from Common Black, opts to use it as well. That's 158 true damage coming there. The flash auto attack. O'Neal flashes out and just escapes by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. That was such a close shave for O'Neal. Obviously, the flash a little bit late, but definitely needed for O'Neal. But he's got the range advantage, and at this sort of HP, despite the fact that Doran's shield is coming in for Coven Black, he has no flash to gap close. He really has to rely on O'Neal overstepping to secure this kill. But maybe what he should do is just push in the wave and take a base, and that is exactly what he's doing. Just take the reset, and really, O'Neal can't do anything with this wave as well, so it's just got to reset to a neutral state. And with the extra gold and extra CS, Common Black is going to have a bit more of a nicer base than O'Neal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Natrix is getting a little bit of farm now, getting himself back into the game slowly, but Olaf is quite a few camps up on him right now, so...
Wow, who saw that one coming?
But we saw it coming, and realistically, we're going to see Pyke looking to hook on lanes quite often, looking for a roam. I'm going to assume he may look top lane here. There isn't a ward. I don't think Scuttle's been used either yet, so I think Natrix may take that and then look for a fight in the top or mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to try. I think Natrix really needs to try and get on the map. He really has to try and start influencing these lanes. He can't stay trying to farm up for too long, otherwise Olaf is just going to sort of run all over him. And he's actually going for an invade, as Olaf is looking like he's going to come in for a gank on Preston. Preston, quite low on mana, so may not have the fanciest of times escaping, but does dodge the axe.
Footwork. Nice footwork, yeah, very nice footwork from Preston there. I mean, we know Preston's obviously quite a mechanically good player, so I don't expect anything less from him to avoid that situation there. And really well played, especially playing to the side of his ward, which is the correct thing to do. He's got the left side of his ward there. He knows his junglers around that place, so he can play to that side whenever he likes, and I think that's a smart thing for him to do there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's just the little things like that that really determine, a good player from your average player, your average Joe to your good Joe.
I have to stop you for a second there, Steve, because Schmooger is looking to the top lane. Yeah. Coven Black hasn't seen him just yet, waiting on the hook that he unfortunately does miss from Zyra, but here comes a knock-up and he hits the ward, so no knock-up coming out there. The ultimate going down onto Schmooger. The Haymaker's going to come down more than likely in a second. No Haymaker just yet, but just auto-attack him to death. Preston's here to try clean up as well. The bombs come out, but there's no stun just yet. The E from Zyra does unfortunately miss. Preston is going to fall unfortunately to Michael Jackson, and that is a 1-1 so... Sorry, yeah, it's a 1-1 so far.
2 for 1.
2 for 1, sorry, yeah, I can't count, my bad. Pyke is here though, I won't type Natrix is here. I'm going to fall to Olaf, but Olaf's level 6 now as well, and O'Neal's going to fall to the second axe, and Michael Jackson is on a rampage.
Holy shit, it's Michael Jackson. He's really doing some major play there. He's trying to pick up the axe, and he's really helping out this Coven Black here, really covering well, pushing in that wave, making sure O'Neal misses the CS, and I think a little bit of a misplay by Preston. He did have that, I'm not sure what it's called, I think it's Chrono Shift or whatever. He does have the ultimate though, still available, still on cooldown. Whether he just didn't manage to maybe he didn't manage to activate it in time, or whether it was because he just didn't expect the amount of damage. Died
yeah, it was
before
unfortunate. It was unfortunate. I mean, I lost my brain for a second and couldn't count numbers, but It was a good fight regardless from Fuji Assassins, and Fuji Assassins clearly showing that their team comp obviously is the better one here. The hook comes out from Kshmugu, but just avoided by Zeri. Really nice footwork there. And I think this bot lane is looking to be pretty much the carry point at this point in the game. Pyke is unfortunately fallen quite far behind, but as expected, especially with the clear in the jungle. Now, Michael Jackson's looking to path towards his top side. Drake is up, and it is priority bot lane. So if I was Gal, I would be looking towards this Drake right now. Preston's in the mid lane, very pushed up, but does have a ward. So I feel like this mid lane will be left alone quite a lot by the Olaf because it doesn't seem to be happening for a gank anytime soon, Atomica.
No, kicking constantly. He's just farming up, and that's exactly what you want from your Vladimir. You know, Vladimir isn't a very good enabler in the early game. You need to wait until he starts getting that Hextech Proto Belt, that gap closer for him, before he can really start to look to do anything. And what makes it even harder for Olaf, or Michael Jackson and Keking to try and coordinate something in the mid lane is that Chrono Shift. You know, he just presses R, presses R, and Chrono Shift does all the work for him, lets him come back. He doesn't properly die, they don't get any gold. All they're doing is getting quite a big cooldown. So
for sure. I mean, it's not even a long cooldown at level 1 either. It's the chrono shift to 100 seconds. But stop there for a second. Kashmuga's going to go in, knocks up Make It Sooner instantly. And I want type. Natrix is here. Does have the ultimate yet, but nothing will kill her just yet. The exhaust comes down. The last auto attack not just doing enough damage yet though. But Zeri's in trouble. Flashes out. Michael Jackson's here. Try clean up though. Pops the ultimate. He's now unstoppable. The axe hits, and it's the ult from Jinx as well. The chrono shift going onto Zabator, but just living so far. Not auto attacking to make sure the ultimate can unfortunately be popped, and really, really well played there. And that is going to be 4 members of Girl falling.
Yeah, Zabator playing away when he really probably should have looked for the flake into him to activate that chrono shift just before it went off him. However, you know, he was panicking. You know, he was quite low. Probably forgot that chrono shift was there and available for him to use. But still, a massive, massive, I would say a big win for Fuji Assassins there. 4 kills. 2 of them go on top of the Jinx. And we all know what Jinx does when she gets fed. She steamrolls the game, and she becomes probably one of the hardest carries to kill, even if you do manage to land a pick. She has that heal, she has the ultimate from Maid Kitsune, she has the healing from Maid Kitsune, and Michael Jackson can just pop that Ragnarok and get in there to help her. So, a big, big win for Fuji Assassins, and Natrix is now really feeling it in the jungle. Can't do anything. Keking picking up that kill, only worth 176 gold now. 4 deaths already for the Pyke, and not having the impact that was probably thought he could have on the Pyke.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Michael Jackson's done the right thing and tried to shut him down in the early game. He's invaded at the right time, looked for support from his mid laner on the red buff there, and I feel like Natrix needs to maybe try give up more than he's not sure he can give up, and he needs to try look to that really. But Coven Black's going to look for an engager on Preston. The Flash E coming out does actually have the Haymaker. Will not kill Preston as the Chrono Shift goes onto him, but O'Neal should take him down here. The showstopper coming out can't unfortunately kill O'Neal, and that is a kill being donated over to the Zyra. Shmuga's going to get silenced as he goes in, knocks up Zeri. There goes the static field. In comes the Flay. The Ignite is on Zeri, and that is a massive shutdown going on to Zabator.
Yeah, very well layered from Shmugu. Shmugu just walking up to Zeri. Zeri not really sure what's going on. Is there a Pyke there? Is there not? So he doesn't really want to commit to any fight. And Shmugu using that pressure, just walking up, using the knock up, using the hook, and then Zabator coming in with the Flay. Nothing much that even Kitsune can do either, because the Ignite was down and the shutdown given over to Zabator. A pretty big one as Shmugu almost dies to the Super Mega Death Rocket, but can just escape.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is that you see this a lot with Blitzcrank players, and I think it really differentiates the difference between a good Blitzcrank player and a bad Blitzcrank player, is people often go in trying looking for the hook instantly, but if you knock up first, then you're already putting that CC on, and you are pretty much guaranteeing yourself a hook from a short range to try and lay that CC even more. Now, obviously looking for a hook in different states is obviously doable, but especially in lane, it's very useful to just pop the W, you get the moves, added move speed, and then look for the knock up first. And especially when you've got a champ like Thresh that can lay that CC, it's always realistically the way to go.
Yeah, and the Sorcerer's Shoes have now come out for Blitzcrank. I mean, it was obviously confirmed from the very start, but just even more got that 8, well, layering that AP damage, and, Jinx probably would have taken double armor runes rather than, or not double armor runes, one armor rune rather than the magic resist rune. So, this Blitzcrank is going to hurt Zeri at this point in time, but it's all about now for Girl just trying to find those picks and that big 1,000 gold shutdown on Michael Jackson.
For sure, but at this point in the game, I gotta wonder whether this Olaf is actually going to be killable at any point. He's already got the God Drinker, already got his tabbies, and he's now looking more than likely towards a death stance. Now, at that point in the game, you got to wonder if they're going to have enough damage. One fortunate thing, they do have the execute on the Pykel. So, although Olaf will heal more when he's lower, that is still an option to get that shutdown over to an important person. And Pike, fortunately, sharing the gold as well, is very useful. But as a fight in the top lane around the jungle, the Haymaker is going to be using to O'Neal, and he's unfortunately going to fall to Kecking there as he takes down O'Neal. Preston's going to try and layer a few bombs onto Coven Black. Does have the Ignite going down as well, and the bomb stuns him and takes a big kill over to a Zillion, so really well played to get a nice trade kill there.
Yeah, I mean, what looked like a pretty standard kill for Keqing is just actually turned into a 1-for-1 by Preston. Using that Ignite, keeping the vision on top, using the bombs as well, layering that extremely well, and that blue buff as well now is on that Zillion. That's going to be a pain for Keqing to deal with in lane, but he's doing extremely well. He's got that proto belt, and you can see instantly the more confidence that Keqing has just to invade with his team, use that proto belt more aggressively, set up these plays, and find these kills.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's becoming a bit of a problem for Girl is that unfortunately Natrix is so far behind at this point. So looking for these important one-for-one trades where you can get it onto the carries that are going to be able to look to carry this game now is probably quite important at this point. And I feel like at this point in the game, it's going to be very reliant on Zabator. But there's another fight in the mid lane. Keking's going to use the Hemo Plague and going to heal up. Preston's got the Chrono Shift on him, but he's not going to pop it just yet as Keking waiting for it to be popped. That's a really, really nice stun. The takedown doesn't get knocked down. The Death from Below not quite doing enough damage to take down Keking. But that is a nice pick up there, and I think it just shows through about the pick potential that they had there. Michael Jackson's going to get hit by Schmooger, but I'm not sure that's what you want to do just yet because the rest of Fuji Assassins are here. Girl O'Neal is going to get taken down. There's a lot of damage going into Zeri, and the Zyra plants are doing so much damage, and Natrix going to get himself on the board. Can he pick up another kill to make Katsune here? But no, because Michael Jackson's going to slam dunk him and take him down.
Yeah,
they don't fight though because Preston's going to go in and use the Everfrost into a bomb, but that is a triple kill on this Olaf, and this is one strong Viking Atomica.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to be unkillable, unstoppable, unkillable. What more can you attribute to this Olaf? He's just, I mean, like the skin, he's just marauding straight through Girl. But Preston did very well to pick up the kill onto Maid Kitsune, and Natrix, you've got to give it to him. He did. It seemed like he was doing absolutely no damage, and the healing coming through from Maid Kitsune would be enough to keep Zeri alive, but Natrix finds the kill, picks it up, and despite the fact that seemingly Girl are so far behind, they are, oh Jesus, mathematics, leave me, 3.5k behind in gold. They are still finding those kills, still finding a way to play the team fight.
Finding a way to play the team fight, but they may find a way to get caught out here, unfortunately, though, Steve, because Smoogu is just going to sacrifice himself and take one for the team, as Michael Jackson was looking. The Hemo Plague is going to go into Natrix, but Natrix will probably just escape. No, he won't, because a Super Mega Death Rocket is going to American Sniper him and take him out. The Stranglethorns are going to be used onto Keking there, but he is just going to escape. The Phase Rush doing him a massive favour there, and the Rift Herald is going to be popped in this bot side.
Yeah, Herald in the bot side, you like to see that from Fuji Assassins. It's the correct play to do. Try and get Zeri and Maid Kitsune out of this lane. Try and get them in a position where they can maneuver around the map, can get ready to move towards the bot side. Oh, not the bot side, sorry, the mid lane. As Zeri picks up the kill on Preston despite the Chrono Shift and the bombs.
Yeah, it was really well played. I mean, Mid Kitsune popped a very nice silence at the correct time just to prevent Preston from double bombing someone to get the stun off just in time to escape. So it was really, really well played here. But O'Neal could be in a little bit of trouble here. Is looking to path towards the turret of Common Black. The flash ult does come out. There goes a showstopper. And he's good. Pardon me, going to take down O'Neal. No, O'Neal's going to escape, maybe narrowly. If he has the E up just in time, he can potentially escape here, but I'm expecting the E to come out from Coven Black any second now. There goes the Q damage, and Coven Black will get taken down. Coven Black will get himself another kill on the board.
Yeah, O'Neal just caught a little bit too far up. Coven Black using that flash showstopper, picking up the kill. No ult coming out from O'Neal, despite the fact that happened. And wow, that's a lot of healing from Mid Kitsune. Natrix taken out. Gore Drinker and Ultimate coming out from Soraka. The deadly duo didn't meant that he missed he went above the execute line. And now Natrix 1 and 7 on this Pyke. It's just one of those unfortunate games. As the Gale Force.
Yeah, it really is. Gale Force comes out, there goes the Everfrost, but the Chrono Shift is popped, just missed time on the Jinx W there. The Super Mega Death Rocket is going to come out, but not going to do enough damage to Preston, as Preston narrowly escapes there. This game is very reliant on Zawatar to carry, I believe.
Yeah. Zawatar got to have a bit of a job on his hands, but he does have the Gale Force, so the Gale Force hook is a thing. You know, just Gale Force into a better position, you find the hook onto someone, and Shmugu as well, as soon as he picks himself up that Everfrost, the hook, or the airborne Everfrost hook, a very deadly combination, and as well another Everfrost to add on top of that if Preston is nearby. Going to be a lot of CC and a lot of chain CC.
A lot of CC looking to use it onto Keking there. The Hemo Plague hits 3 members of Girl, and he will pick up a kill onto O'Neal, and there goes the Hextech Rocket. Will try to escape. The Shmugu's going to have to hit a really important hook here, and he does actually manage to hit it. The kill goes over to Natrix, gets himself a second kill, and really well played there. But in the meantime, they are looking to take the Baron, Atomica.
Yep. Looking to take the Baron, you see 3 members bot side, and really the only person that can do quite a little bit of damage, Zabator, is there as well. So why not? They have no vision on the Baron, they have no vision in the river. Girl will probably be thinking that they're just looking for a reset to go to the Drake, which is spawning in 50 seconds. So why not use it to sneak the Baron? And
Preston is aware he's going to pop the plant, but I think he's just going to see him a little too late, unfortunately. The bomb goes down, but it's going to be too late. And really, really nice call from Fuji Assassin. They managed to pick up a pretty free Baron there. The issue is, what can they do with that now at such an early point in the game?
I would say quite a bit. Just purely the extra stats that they get from Baron Nashor will be enough to secure the next Drake. Because there's no way that Girl can feasibly approach this next Drake with the extra stats and tankiness, really, that just the Olaf has, let alone the Set, the Jinx, the Vladimir. It's going to be very hard for Girl to find any sort of picks, but Coven Black, Everfrosted, there's the hook, and it's a pretty big one. As Zabator's Gale Force almost ready again as Kitsune finds the kill onto Shmugu after he got absolutely demolished by that Haymaker. The showstopper coming in, and Natrix trying to find anything. Zabator, it's got a hook out of there. Natrix's ult as Coven Black gonna be denied a kill thanks to the Chrono Shift there. And Coven Black just surviving constantly. There's no real way for Girl seemingly to kill him, and finally he falls thanks to Zabator. And pretty big picks there for Girl.
Yeah, very good picks there for Girl. Unfortunate coordination there from Zabator and Natrix, unfortunately hooking him out of the Pyke ultimate. But at the same time, it probably worked for the better there, because realistically, you do have quite an important kill going on to a Thresh there. Although the gold is split, it's still very useful for it to go for the full amount of gold to go onto a Thresh there, I believe, Atomica. But really nice picks there. They did pick up the Drake, but realistically, I think Girl knew they couldn't contest that, so looked for picks elsewhere. And they slowly can climb their way back into this game, but unfortunately there is around a 10k gold deficit now, so it's going to be a struggle. But if they can manage to make those picks using the comp that we talked, like how they can do it with layering their CC, then there is an opportunity for Girl to potentially bring this game back.
Yeah, and especially the big 500 gold shutdown onto Jinx, 700 gold shutdown on top of the Olaf. If they find a pick, even just a lucky pick, It can either be lucky, it can be unlucky, it can be planned, it can be unplanned. You know, as long as they get that kill onto the Jinx and it goes onto the right people. And you may be wondering, oh, well, who is the right person? And honestly, in this situation, I would say it's either the Thresh or Preston as O'Neal. There's the big hook onto Keking. And he's killed for O'Neal, but Shmugu falls as well. There's the gale force forward by Zabutor, trying to keep Zeri under the tower, but the Chrono Shift coming out for Zabutor, and he's going to be silenced, showstoppered, and killed. There's not really much Preston can do after that. Big double kill. The Herald is there as well, and this may actually just be the end of the game. Fuji Assassins pushing deep into Girl's base, and Natrix 2 and 7 can't do much. Baroned up minions. Shelly gonna come in as well.
Yeah, just going to be the end of the game there. Unfortunately, Girl didn't need to look to team fight there, and they looked to team fight under the tower, and I think they just thought maybe they were strong enough to take them down there. But Fuji Assassin is going to pick up the first victory in this game, and with a comp that Girl had, it was always going to be rather difficult to get a win there, Tomoko.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a bit rough to pick up, and it was always going to be the difficult one, like you said. But
yeah, for sure.
Not like they care. It was the gimmick round, wasn't it? But Fuji Assassin you still have to win those games against the gimmick, and Fuji Assassins, I would say, rightfully pick up game number 1. So we are going to go to a small break as we get everything set up for game number 2, and I will just chuck on the music again. Hopefully it's working. So we're going to go for a little break as we get everything set up, as I said before, for game number 2, and we will be back shortly. Right, okay, we are back, and the teams are almost ready for the next draft. Hopefully, we will see them ready up soon.
Yeah, just waiting on Girl to ready up, but this time I do believe Girl more than likely be playing normal compositions. Generally, the way they normally work is they normally run a gimmick in the first game and then normally just go for a normal game the second time. Just have a normal one. That's what they normally do, so I do expect them to do that this game. More than likely, which could, to be honest with you, change the whole dynamic of how it could potentially go.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are now into the pick a man face, and now we should see a little bit more usual picks, is the term I would like to use for Girl.
Yeah, we definitely should. Gonna wait for the first ban here. It is going to be the Jin being banned away from Zabator. Quite a staple pick for Zabator here, and with him more than likely looking for regular comp, it's definitely a good ban to take away from Girl on the first rotation here. We'll see what Girl reply with here. It is going to be the Olaf ban. Personally, I do think that's a really good ban. Even if Girl do not look to layer CC, do not look to go for the supports, even layering CC against an Olaf is just a pain. So I do think that's quite a good ban there, Atomica.
Yeah, Olaf probably one of the, or if not the strongest early game jungler, especially in the 1v1. The healing and everything about that champion is just a nuisance, so banning it away, especially Michael Jackson after showing proficiency on the champion. An extremely good ban. The Zillion banned away by Fuji Assassins. They don't want to see Zillion again. Chrono Shift was obviously a bit of a annoyance to them, despite the fact that Girl didn't really, have chances to utilize it for a particular carry. Just getting rid of that option for Girl seems to be one of Fuji Assassins' goals, as the Lulu now is banned away by Girl.
Yeah, I mean, Lulu just quite a facilitator for most carriers, really. If they do opt for the Jinx again, then Lulu's obviously a really, really good pickup to pair with that there. The Nort is going to be banned away from Captain Shmugu, probably his most played support, I do believe. And Nort as being probably one of the strongest, if not, I actually think the strongest engaged support currently. So that's a really good ban away from Captain Shmuga, especially on someone who knows how to pilot it properly. Girl looking for the last banner here. It could potentially be a Jinx or the Zeri. There we go. The Zeri is being banned. So really nicely played there. It does mean that the Relia is open. And with it being something that O'Neill hates playing against, I do think this is quite a nice pickup for Fuji Assassins here. But Girl are going to reply with Lysandra. So we do get to see a little treat of Preston's Lysandra here, which is very, very nice. Quite obviously a staple pick for him. And the Viego is going to get locked in the jungle. Now, Viego is just realistically one of the best champions in the game currently. And if he can get the all-important reset in fights, then it kind of just changes the whole dynamic of how a fight's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Viego, a really annoying champion to deal with. Would not be surprised, though, to see that being responded with Zinzal, but no, it's looking like it's going to be the Zac. So Zac, a really, really annoying champion, really is such a good disruptor of any team fight that, his kit cannot go without being addressed. And looking like it's going to be a Jinx AD carry again, and Girl really need to sort of dig deep here and find a tank killer, I think, or someone that can deal really well with bruisers and tanks in order to facilitate. Yeah,
for sure, but it does mean that the Soraka is going to get locked in for honest. Tristana is being locked in for Zabator. I do think that's quite a good pickup here, especially if you manage to buffer the W, especially against the Zac, and I suppose it also helps with potentially outranging the Jinx in the late game as Tristana's passive works. But the Jinx was picked up by Fuji Assassins. We've said it before, strongest ADC in the game currently, so no surprise there that it was picked up on the side of Fuji Assassins. I expected it on either team here. But the second bans that are coming out, and instead of picking the Soraka, Girl have opted to ban the Soraka away. And it does mean that Fuji Assassins are going to reply with the Blitzcrank. Captain Shmugu did pilot it really, really well in quite a difficult game and clearly showed that he's proficient on that champion. So we'll have to see what the final bans for each team will be.
Yeah, the Blitzcrank actually played a pivotal role in denying the first blood and played an extremely pivotal role as well in getting Zabator some kills. So banning it away, definitely a very good option, as Mordekaiser is going to be the ban away from Fuji Assassin. So clearly Girl think that this Aurelia is going to be piloted more towards the mid lane than it is the top lane. Whether that's from scouting or whether that's from just their thinking. Is yet to be confirmed, as it's looking like it's going to be a Yuumi ban to deny the Tristana Yuumi or Viego Yuumi combination Yuumi as well, just in general. One of the, I'd say, quite an annoying support to play against. You know, pretty much she gets free poke, the healing is very oppressive in lane. It's just free sustain, free poke, and not really much that you can do about it. So Fuji Assassins, they're banning away Yuumi.
Definitely not. Now, I wonder what Girl I'm going to pick here for a support. That is going to be Shyvana, locked in for O'Neal. Neil's staple pick in the top lane. So not surprised there. Do believe AD Shyvana is actually quite strong right now. I think it's quite strong right now. So more than likely we'll be opting for that. It does mean that Janna is going to get picked up here. It's been hovered. I do expect it to be locked in here now. Janna, obviously with the recent buffs, having her Whirlwind just move at a fast projectile speed, does mean that she can disrupt and be a nuisance in a lot of fights as it gets locked in here. Now, against someone like a Shyvana, who's going to look to jump in with the ultimate, and then against Lysandra, who's going to look to lock down as well, even stopping the Tristana jump as well. I do believe that's quite a nice pickup here. And it does mean the final pick of Fuji Assassins is looking to be a Shen. Quite a tanky team Fuji Assassins have in terms of the Zac and the Shen. Obviously looking to try play around this Jinx and Aurelia.
Yeah, my issue with the Janna pick is, unless Maid Kitsune has the reaction speed of a supercomputer, it's going to be really hard to pilot that Janna and play that. No, I'm not going to say, to a challenger level like, you'd expect, but to at least be able to extremely peel well for this Jinx. Maid Kitsune really needs to be on the ball, really sort of connected with the game and constantly hyper focused, really, to deny quite a lot of what Girl can do. They have two unstoppables, the Heartbreaker and the Shyvana ultimate. They are unstoppables. She'll have to really time that Monsoon well. Because if it's baited out after using one unstoppable, then the other one can just come in and either displace her, stop that Monsoon and that healing, or can displace Jinx and get her out of the range. So it's going to be extremely difficult, I think, for Maid Kitsune to pilot this Janna, but it's into Tristana Leona. It's going to have an extremely fun laning phase. Just poking out this Leona Tristana, making sure that Leona can't really do what she wants to do in lane. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said before, I do think it's kind of dependent on if Maid Kitsune does have good reaction speed. If he has a good reaction speed, then he can actually prevent Leona from Zenith blading in. So similar to the way the Flare work, it's similar to Thrasher's E, I believe, right? I think when Leona's Zenith blades and you can flay that away.
Yeah, so you can do it like mid E
with Janna Q with the Whirlwind. Yeah. So yeah, that could, if he does have the reaction speed, then it could mean that they manage to perform that and manage to disrupt Leona's engage. So I do think a lot of this game will be played around bot lane more than likely, especially for this Zac looking to get this Jinx a lead. But that being said as well, Aurelia is a solo carry. Hold on a second, analysis has been locked in the champ select. That's going to have to be redone.
For God's sake. But yeah,
Yeah, we'll get back into the lobby now.
And yeah, the teams. I think they're just gonna reorder themselves, just make sure they're in the right order, so they know what they're picking and where they're picking it. But girl, this time obviously their composition is a lot better. A lot more what you'd see from them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell you what, it really has a lot of lockdown. Not even a case of what single target lockdown. It's a really good. It's again a really good control of an area. You know, Lissandra W, Viego with his resets. Like, if they do manage to lock down one person, fantastic. But it's not just one person they can lock down, they can really control an area. But last game, Fuji Assassins did just run right through that anyway. So, whether that matters or not, we don't know.
Yeah, for sure, but the good thing is they do have the potential to take down these tanks realistically towards the late game. Tristana can be a pretty good tank buster. If opts for the LDR, which more than likely you see most ADCs opt for now anyway, since it's just a super strong item, more gold efficient. So I think it's going to more than likely be a second pickup here for Zabator. But yeah, girl spelling out the word Sag in Champs Like, love to see it.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they do it quite often, so I always look for it. But yeah, we are just champs have finally been locked in, so gonna have to wait for the 3-minute spectate delay. But we should probably get a poll out in chat.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do bloody poll last game as well. I can't do /poll either because the chat box I can't do it. Predictions for the game. I honestly think Girl will win, despite the fact that Fuji Assassins did kind of stomp last game. I think Girl this game, now they have a bit more stability. Their composition is a lot more what they would pick. They are going to start playing extreme. I think they'll be able to play a lot more around what they want to do, and their win conditions will come online, and they'll be a lot more comfortable in how to play the game. Fuji Assassins obviously did get Aurelia, and they have this big peel comp. But, you know, if this Tristana, Leona manage to get a couple kills in lane, then really, who is this Shen and Zach gonna peel for?
Yeah, 100%. What's our take on the draft? What's your part in the draft? Sorry. Well, I'll answer what my take on the draft is. Anyway, but the take on the draft is, I mean, like, Girl do have a lot of potential to lock people down. They've got Lissandra ult, they've got Leona with triple CC basically. So if Fuji Assassins can manage to keep this Jinx safe, then that can realistically cause a problem for Girl in terms of the initiation. That being said, Fuji Assassins do have a lot of peel. I think the Zac was a really nice pickup, as is the Janna with the ultimate as well, to keep anyone away at important times. But on the side of Girl, they also have a lot of peel. And Tristana having the rocket jump as well does allow her to jump in and out of draft, in and out of anything. And I think that's going to be really, really vital to use that essentially, especially for Zabator in these big fights, realistically. But for that reason alone, and just Girl's draft, and the way I know they pilot their champions, I do believe Girl are probably my favorite pick in this game.
Yeah, agreed, really. Girl are my favourite pick, not because, I mean, you can very obviously go that, well, we know them. And they've been around since Season 1. They've proven themselves. Fuji Assassins were here last season. Obviously, some complications with the team did mean that they, unfortunately, couldn't partake in the playoffs, so we haven't really seen fully what they can do. But during the season, they did top the standings. And last game, they did kind of carry on, seemingly, with that dominance.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was against the gimmick that Girl do play. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very close game. I don't think it's going to be like another 40-50 minute game 2, like we saw last stream. I think that it's still gonna be close, but it's not gonna be a dragged out game. It's gonna be
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I do think it's dependent on who can snowball the most. You've got quite a couple of champs that do snowball pretty hard here. I mean, if Aurelia manages to get a snowball on the Jinx, then it's going to be difficult for Girl to realistically take that down. But again, you've got a Viego and you've got Tristana on the side of Girl. So if either of those teams can snowball and play around their carries, then it's kind of dependent on who plays around the carries the best.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's very much, very much both competitions focused around their AD carries. So it is going to be the AD carry show. I think that Fuji Assassins definitely have a lot more defensive peel, whereas Girl have a lot more offensive peel. In that Girl can go forwards and go backwards, whereas Fuji Assassins, really their only facilitator forwards is the Zac, and their main facilitators backwards are Janna and Shen. So Girl seemingly are the victors of the poll of who's going to win game number 2. 3 votes to 2, so even the bloody the poll is as close as what we predict the game's going to be.
Yeah, really is, but we are in the loading screen now, so we're going to take a quick look at the summoners. Jinx has actually opted to cleanse this game. Now, with the Leona and Lissandra, I do think that's definitely the right pickup there, and Janna has actually opted for the exhaust. Zabator taking the exhaust this time, actually on the Tristana. And actually, Keking in the mid lane is taking the exhaust as well, Tomica, so interesting pickup there.
Yeah, taking the cleanse because, well, you're against Lissandra. Lissandra very CC heavy, can set up extremely well for the jungler. So you want to cleanse as soon as that Lissandra starts looking forward, starts to look a lot more aggressive when you think that you shouldn't. So if you can cleanse that CC, then you are more than fine.
Yeah, for sure. But there's not going to be an invade in this game, looking like both teams are just going to point defense and look to hold off their location, just make sure that no one is going to look to take any precaution, no one's going to look to take anything realistically. So a bit of a slower start this game, but no mega hook champ, so this is quite expected here.
Yeah, a lot more slow. Obviously, the Fuji Assassins now no hook champs, a lot more confident to actually bodyguard the entrances to their jungle rather than place down defensive vision. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be one of those early games where we have to bear with the storm as people slowly farm up, people slowly get a little bit more confident with their champions as they start getting those items. And really, this early game is I would say, it's got to be focused a lot more around wave states and how either Michael Jackson or Natrix manage to manipulate these wave states to help themselves and to also help their laners.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going to be played around the jungle. Early damage coming out from Keking here, as expected on the Aurelia, just looking to get them stacks and then looking to move in for a bit of damage. But Preston managing to weave some auto attacks in to get a bit of a trade here. The clear of Viego is more than likely to be a bit of a quicker start than the Zac, so they'll probably meet in the river at some point in this game. But it's definitely going to be a big game for Girl to prove a point that they can still bring back games even after doing the gimmick in the first game.
Yeah, and as you saw there, level 2 for Zabator and Shmugu first. Zeri and Maid Kitsune going to respect that quite a lot as Keking gets rooted up and takes quite a lot of damage. Also, interestingly enough, Keking taking the Doran's Blade as that stun. On my screen definitely didn't land, but it did land anyway. Getting the mark, getting the poke down, and that's the damage returned.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Doran's items aren't necessarily the best right now. That's the current issue, probably, is that none of them necessarily have the potential you'd want them to have realistically. But Hazard shops for the Doran's Blade, I would have probably expected a longsword 3 pots here instead. But never mind, because that is the start he's opting for. Natrix is actually looking for a top lane gank. There isn't actually a ward in River, but Shen does have the ability to taunt out. O'Neal is going to hit the E and look to engage. Common Black is going to taunt out, but Natrix waited for it patiently. The W does go down on lands, but the passive of the W and the Q is going to keep him alive and take no damage. So nothing come out of the gank so far. Another stun does land, but it's just going to be a bit of a nuisance for him and poke it out there. But Zabator's going to get rooted by the Chompers. The Janna Q does go down, but unfortunately he's not quite quick enough to take Zabator down just yet. But there's a lot of damage going into Zabator quite early.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what I was talking about when we were waiting for the jungle camps to spawn when director camera didn't really want to move. Wave states are going to have a massive impact. I mean, it always does, no matter what, whether it's a slow game or a fast game. And O'Neal managing to set up a good freeze allowed Natrix to come in and potentially find something, but Coven Black, wise to that gank, managed to escape. And also, with Zabator and Shmugu pushing in, Zeri himself managed to almost take advantage of the fact that Zabator was pushed up, lands those chompers, and almost picking up the kill. Zabator did go down to about a quarter, maybe a half HP, and it's now gone through both of his refillable potions. No real sustain in the lane. There's
going to be fighting the top lane, but never mind, because Michael Jackson is here. Does such manage on the jump, but Zabator is going to jump out, but the second Q is going to land, but I won't type. Natrix is going to try and come up and try to clean up a little bit of damage or pressure them off here. So it's going to be a flash is going to be used by Zabator. Like Preston is going to land a root and E away from Kecking. But that is a big summoner being used by Zabator in the early game, and Michael Jackson played it really well to wait for the jump and then hit the auto second. It'd have been good for him to maybe try get it mid-jump, but either way, it's still not a bad way to pull the Tristana back into the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well played, as you said, by Michael Jackson. The patience from both junglers, really. Natrix waiting for the dash taunt, as Kecking is here in the top side. And O'Neal is now going to look for the kill, and the Ignite may actually find it, but nope. Kecking getting the first blood, and the Ignite won't find the kill either. So, the roam from the Aurelia picking up a kill, and Shyvana going to maybe force to TP back to lane here to set up.
Yeah, I believe Neil took a turret shot there.
Yeah, the taunt.
Which is unfortunate. Just again, you mentioned wave states and just leaving the wave state too close to the tower, but Preston's going to land a very nice route into Kecking. The Ignite goes down as well, but nothing's going to happen as Michael Jackson is there to cover, doing a very good job of covering at the correct time there. So really, really well played by Michael Jackson there. Unfortunate, but Neil needs to be careful and watch his wave states there. But he's going to engage. In comes the Dragon form onto Coven Black. He's going to taunt away. I'm not sure he has the damage just yet, but no junglers around. The E just misses though, and O'Neal is unfortunately going to waste his Dragon form there and not manage to pick up a kill just yet. Michael Jackson is waiting in the wings. The stun comes down, as does the layered CC, and Michael Jackson going to pick up a kill onto Preston.
Yeah, perfect layering of CC by Kecking and Michael Jackson. Very well performed gank. It's just the Zac specialty. Wait in where there is no vision, use your slingshot, get in, and then get the kill. And not really much that Preston can do, unfortunately for him. So he's going to be waiting for that lost chapter before he goes back to the mid lane. And, Fuji Assassin's playing this early game very well, playing around the power of the ganking power of the Zac. And a bit of ping issues for Zabator, as you see in the chat. But yeah, 2 kills already over to Fuji Assassins does warrant them a 1,000 gold lead 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, the one good thing is that they do actually have the important kill and assists onto a carry, which is the Aurelia here. And we mentioned about Aurelia being a snowball champion, and having the Aurelia take them early kills is going to help that situation come out there. One thing I do want to mention that is that although O'Neal is down a death and probably down on gold here, only by probably about not much, about 200 gold or so. The one thing is about Neil is that he often quite comes back into the game by farming up, trying to get that lead, trying to split push champion. He's very much a weak side player. So I do expect him to still be very, very useful towards the late game, especially as he's opted for the Barmy Cinder. He's looking to go more tanky this game, so more than likely opting for the Frostfire Gauntlet.
Yeah, a lot of damage, a lot of slows. Also, that Barmy Cinder damage itself is not really to be laughed at, really.
No, not yet, but O'Neal is going to engage onto Covan Black. Nothing's going to come of it, just like the Dragon's Descent doing a fair bit of damage. The E does land, does actually have the Doran's Ring. So, does do a little bit more AP damage with that E, but Covan Black is just going to try get this wave on try farm this wave on the tower, but O'Neal's having none of it. The taunt just unfortunately missing. No junglers about inside to try take O'Neal down here, as Covan Black is going to have to take a reset. No TP up as well, and it is a cannon wave. So gonna be unfortunately quite a big loss if he does back. He's gonna stay. By the looks of it, realizes he can't unfortunately back in the situation.
Yeah, but O'Neal picks up a plating for it.
O'Neal picks up a free plating for it. So really useful there, gets himself back into the game now. Gold is evening up a little bit more, just about 700 gold deficit for Girl here. The taunt missing just again, the Super Mega Death Rocket flying past, just unfortunately missing. But Kecking is here. O'Neal has realized it, doesn't have flash. But the flash Vanguard's edge from Kecking just missing. And that is not what you want to see if you're a Fuji Assassins fan.
Yeah, that's massive. That's actually really big. That's a lot of kill pressure down for Kecking. That's an escape mechanism as well. Down for Kecking, and constantly he's being forced to cancel the base. No flash onto O'Neal, but he can just get away. It's so much time being gathered by O'Neal. This is incredible work despite being 0-1. Fuji Assassin seemingly really want to find this kill. Really want to find this dive. And there it is. There's the Unstoppable, though. Extra HP. There's the Ignite. But the cleanse coming out from Kecking will cleanse that Ignite. Does finally find the kill. But not without a very decent fight from O'Neal. And as well, the Drake goes over to Girl as well. So...
yeah, Drake picking up that first Drake of the game will be mountain, so we'll have that extra 6% armor and magic resist this game. So very, very useful for them, especially on your big tanks like the Shyvana and on the Leona as well. So the extra 6% will do a little bit. Michael Jackson looking to hover in the wings and look to get engaged here. Does it engage by Captain Shmugu though? Does Zeri? Is going to get away from it just about. Let's Bounce coming out onto Natrix. Natrix opting to use his Heartbreaker to escape this one, with Presence here as well. Does have the Frozen Team available, but not going to use it just yet. Does know he's there, unfortunately, do Fuji Assassins. So nothing happening just yet. No sums were popped other than the exhaust from the flash from the Leona and the exhaust from the Janna.
Yeah, and the flash from Natrix.
Oh, flash from Natrix as well, yeah.
Two big flashes. The flash for Viego, quite a big one to lose. You know, that flash Heartbreaker onto low targets is a extremely common thing that you see from Viego players. So that not being a tool, again, almost equivalent to the Vanguard's Edge and Flash of Kecking. So it's definitely one of those that was a bit of an aggressive play, especially without fully knowing that Michael Jackson was still in the area and going for that extremely aggressive play. Seemingly did look a little bit, I mean, maybe Girl thought that they could win that. But Michael Jackson spied out on a control ward. He's going to clear that and is going to look to walk away.
Will be a Rift Herald though, being picked up for Girl. Natrix just helping out O'Neal here, picking up a Rift Herald. Normally you see Girl look for that quite often as a team. They do look to try facilitate their top laner by putting a Rift Herald on that person realistically, especially on O'Neal. Loves to try and get it, but the jump is going to come in onto Preston. The second auto attack isn't going to land on the Q, so we'll just escape there. But in comes a solar flare, but it's a very, very, very nice monsoon there from Make It Sune. But Captain Shmugu is so tanky. The bomb and the exhaust is going onto Zeri. Does actually manage to exhaust it. Fight in the mid lane though, as Natrix might fall down to Kecking here. A lot of damage coming out there, but there's also a kill in the bot lane as a Stand United was used onto the Jinx, and that is another kill, and that is just a 5-0 lead for Fuji Assassins here.
Yeah, and that's the defensive peel coming out, and that's the thing that we said. How will Fuji Assassins utilize this? They're utilizing it very well. Shmugu finds a nice engage onto Zeri. Zabator using that exhaust as well. You'd think, oh, that Jinx is definitely dead, but the Stand United coming out. And as well, in the mid lane, you know, Kecking on this Aurelia, 1-0-3. Whenever Aurelia gets the 4 stacks, it's seemingly impossible, really, for Girl to do anything against her. the healing and everything is just so strong. And in the end, did manage to take down Natrix, and Shmugu also sacrificing himself. As the slingshot comes in, O'Neal gonna fall again, and it is just... See, it's not falling apart for Girl, but it's a very difficult situation for them to be in. Now down 2k gold, and Fuji Assassin's playing this early game extremely, extremely well.
Yeah, they're really struggling now, Girl, to get back into the game. They do have the option for the late game, though. They do still have the potential to bring this back. Gold lead isn't as big as you'd expect, just 2k, and I think that's mainly down to CSing quite well here, a Girl. Trying to keep himself in the game here. Have taken the Drake as well, and a couple of places in the top side. That's more than likely why the gold lead has stayed relatively similar and same here. But there's going to be engaged in the mid lane and Preston. That's a lot of damage coming out from Keking. Doesn't have the Vanguard's edge just yet, so can't fully quite take on Preston. Preston just narrowly escaping with that E. Has opted to stay. So it does have the Frozen Tomb available, so could potentially look to stop a dive here. Shmugu's going to look to roam towards the mid lane, see if he can pick up a kill on this rally. Super Mega Death Rocket coming out, being blocked by Shmugu, so quite fortunate for Preston there, but still really well played to roam up. But it does mean that Keking will spot he's there.
Yeah, unintentional block, but a good block nonetheless by Shmugu. Does deny that Super Mega Death Rocket finding the kill onto Preston, because I do believe actually with that trajectory and with the way that Preston was moving around in the lane, it would have actually hit him. So thank God that Shmugu was there for the side of for Preston, as they managed to pick themselves up the Infernal Drake, and it's an Ocean Soul.
Yeah, going to be an Ocean Soul here. The Flash W coming down from Natrix, not going to hit the Solar Fire, landing onto Jinx there. Just going to unfortunately fall, but the Sun United coming down, so not falling just yet, but the Heartbreaker is just available. Managed going to get a really important reset onto the Jinx here. Jumpers come down, but nothing's going to hit just yet. Michael Jackson does manage to escape with a very nice flash away, but that is a really, really important 2 kills coming in for Girl.
Yeah, as well. 1 kill going on to Zabator as well. You cannot express how big that is for Girl. Well, A, to finally get on the board in terms of kills, but B, even just proving to themselves that right now, even through that stand United, with the correct focus and
Really
just
big
solo
kill
kills.
for O'Neal, though, just taking him down, showing that he can use fire and flame to take down this Shen. The Ignite comes down, and I don't think this Shen Coven Black quite expected the damage from this Shyvana.
No, I mean, he's 0-3. Why would you expect any damage whatsoever? As there's the Vanguard's Edge going to hit onto 2. The cleanse as well by Keking, but I wouldn't type... Natrix, sorry. Just going to get killed. There's Saboteur now. Oh! Flash attempts at the stun as there's the airborne by Michael Jackson. He's going to tank up the turret. Saboteur, there's the exhaust. Not much that you can do. Triple kill for this Aurelia. 4-0-3 now is Keking, and... You know... Should Girl have banned it instead of the Olaf? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, just when it all started to look a little bit more positive for Girl, Fuji Assassin denying that and coming back with a triple kill onto an important carry in this Aurelia. So it's significantly far ahead of this Lissandra. Take a look at the gold, and 2,000 gold ahead of Lissandra, so going to be a massive struggle for Preston to even attempt to fight this earlier in the mid lane, but probably looking like Preston is going to just be a facilitator, look for the Frozen Tomb and look to try just be a nuisance and wait for his team in these team fights. Just Frozen Tomb, wait for the stun, wait for the Everfrost, and just he's gone for the Ludens actually. So not Everfrost there, but just going to look to facilitate fights and be essentially a stun bot, really.
Yeah, a stun bot that can still deal damage, I think, is the correct way to think about that. With that
for
Ludens.
Sure. For sure.
I mean, what can Aurelia do unless she builds a specific item? You know, the cleanse, yes, she can cleanse it, but then you've got Shmugu to deal with. And there's just so much CC that Aurelia has to really choose carefully with what she decides to cleanse. Whereas, Preston doesn't really care much if he dies. As the turret taken there. Preston falling very low. Super Mega Death Rocket, though, is going to miss. And Goblin Black picks up the kill. Thanks to the taunt. The extra little damage on the taunt. Not
Yeah, I
able to
mean,
donate the kill.
Preston wanted to get the tower, but does actually manage to get it as well. So it's a nice little bit of extra goal for Girl there, but I'm not quite sure that's worth his death. That does mean that Girl are going to get a push on mid and bot lane here. O'Neal is going to get caught out though as a taunt lands. Does actually have the Dragon's Descent available. Is going to look to use it immediately and try to escape the situation, but not enough damage is going to go down to Coven Black. Does mean that the kill will go over as Coven Black as the flash auto attacks in to pick up a kill, and O'Neal is struggling in this top lane Atomica.
Yeah, I really don't think that that's worth though. Personally, I think okay, they get the second Herald, but I don't think it's worth the Shen Flash because Flash Taunt is such a big engage tool for Fuji Assassins, and I understand that the rest of their composition doesn't really want to engage, and Shen may have realistically majoritively been drafted purely for the Stand United, as Keking is just straight up taken down, and Natrix picks up the shutdown, very big for the Viega to get back into the game. But
yeah, I mean, we saw a massive frozen tomb from Preston there, like coming in at the all important time. Natrix did a really good job of just delaying the fight and waiting for that to come in. Keking just overstepping a little bit, nearly had enough damage to kill Natrix after the frozen tomb did fade away, but not enough just yet. But that was a massive shutdown, 700 gold going on to Natrix.
yeah, absolutely, and that big shutdown is really allowed Natrix almost back into the game, almost back as an entity to try and contest this Zac now, because the Vampire accepts the extra daggers, for the attack speed, looking to build the Blade of the Ruined King as soon as possible after the Divine Sunderer, as the Ocean Drake is spawning. So we are looking like we're going to see a fight here. Coven Black is with the team this time, rather than responding to O'Neal. O'Neal is there. And Preston, they somehow knew where Preston was, despite the fact there was a control with them. Maybe Michael Jackson was just face-checking, being extremely brave. But the more that Girl can stall this, the more that they get out of it. O'Neal is still on the flank. Saboteur going to auto-attack combat to deny the base, but they give up the Drake. Shmugu hit by the Nado, and there is the Q from Zac, but it's not going to be enough, as O'Neal picks up the inner turret on the top lane.
A really nice flash there as well from Shmuga to just escape that. I mean, it was a Drake that Gil could afford to give up, but as you said, Atomica, like, wait into the late so Neil can pick up that all-important second tower there in the top lane. Does allow him to maybe look for a push in the bot lane or even take down tier 3 here. So just creates a little bit more pressure. Means that Coven Black does have to realistically match that, but Fuji Assassins did know they were stronger in that team fight, so had the ability to get another Drake and does deny the soul point, so well played from either side there.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuji Assassins recognizing, we're in a 5v4, we can just walk into the river. Girl can't really do anything, they don't have their tank to face check anywhere, so they just established dominance. They just walked up and said, we have our tanks, where are yours? Yours is split pushing, okay, we'll walk into the river, thank you very much. Takes the Drake, but as you said, the all-important inner tower is, I would say, not more worth, but definitely means that, like, Fuji Assassins can't get anything off that Drake, off the back of that Drake, because the waves are so pushed in. And you can really see that it's now starting to affect them, because when they're getting these objectives, whether it's a Drake, whether you even count the Scuttle Crab as like a mini objective for them, it's
Preston's going to engage on here though, Atomica. The Frozen Tomb is going to get used on himself though. Michael Jackson looking for another engage. Natrix is going to look to opt in the Solar Flare, just missing as very narrowly avoided it. O'Neal's fighting, kicking in the top lane, but does have a lot of healing. Ignite is going to go down though. Michael Jackson's going to get a very important kill onto Preston. O'Neal may take the kill onto Keking here. Keking getting taken down, but Natrix is very, very low as well. The flash coming out as well. Double kill coming over to Michael Jackson here. And Zeri will pick up a kill onto Shmugu there. So it was unfortunately a 3-for-1, so really well played by Fuji Assassins there. Doesn't mean it will be the Baron for them.
Yeah, and this time the wave states are in a more favourable position for them. As soon as they take the Baron, they don't have the base. They can just go straight to the top lane, take that top tier 1. They could even split their chances. Coven Black goes to the top side, takes that tier 1 whilst they're finishing off the Baron. But, Saboteur is there now. They don't have that mid lane as an option, and the wave is getting thinner and thinner. Coven Black didn't need to be there. The tier 1 could have been taken as well in the top side. So, despite the fact that that was a really good pickup by Fuji Assassins, they played the macro afterwards a little bit too sort of cautiously by saying, let's all go to Baron, rather than sending Coven Black, who still has that Stand United, can still be a presence in the team fight without being there to the side lane to go and take that tier 1. So not as much gold as they could have got, but still they took the Baron and took an objective nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure. O'Neal playing with fire a little bit there, a little bit low in the jungle, taking the red buff, but just managed to just escape just about. Steals the red buff off this Jinx here, so an important buff to steal there, but either way, there is just about a 3,000 gold lead here for Fuji Assassins, so I'm very much looking to be the favourites to win this game at this current moment in time. Jinx is getting quite strong now, sitting on 2 items, so just an item above this Tristana. I do expect Zabathor to pick up an item on the back here. Is the Phantom Dancer coming out there? So both I'm looking for the Phantom Dancer.
I don't like that, to be honest.
I'd have probably expected the LDR would have been better for him, yeah.
Especially if, purely for Zabathor, especially if you're not going the Kraken Slayer to help against a Shen, a Zac, and an Aurelia. If you're not going the Kraken Slayer, then you sort of committing to the LDR second item. But because that wasn't seen, it's now Zabathor is going to deal hardly any damage to these tanky figures. It's Preston forced a flash. Wait, there was a TP, I believe. Oh no, there wasn't. It was just...
O'Neal's going to use Dragon's Ascent onto Coven Black, although he is going to miss just again, though. Coven Black's going to fight him in this minion wave. Does have the Baron buff and the Baron stats as well, so I'm not sure O'Neal can quite win this one just yet. The E is going to land. He's going to look to walk away, though. It does mean that Girl are going to defend this tier 2 in the mid lane, so nicely played from Fuji Assassin to pick up some really important summoners and some really important ultimates on Girl.
Yeah, absolutely, and picking up the kill onto Shmugu as well. Just extending their gold lead now to about 4,000. 5,000 almost. Which is really big. But, you know, Girl are never out with this sort of composition. Zabathor could find a Gale Force pick, as Natrix is potentially going to walk straight in. Yes, he is.
Yeah, just a lack of vision there, and I think a lack of just... At this point in the game, realistically, the jungle isn't their jungle. So they can't look to. You can't really look to try use this at this point, especially when the Drake's up. You should know that Fuji Assassins are going to look for this. It could be in the bot side jungle at any point. And I think it's a little bit unfortunate, but also maybe just a lack of vision there as well. And so unfortunate, but really, really well played from Fuji Assassins to set up that kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuji Assassins playing it extremely well, playing around the lack of vision extremely well, and they're playing this game just extremely well, really. Michael Jackson has been all over the place on this Zac. He has been constantly at the correct time. Shmugu caught out here. He's going to die the very slow, painful death that you expect him to die. There we go. Finally falls. And the kill going over to the Jinx as well is so big. This is going to become, like, the more this game goes on and the more items that Jinx, that Zeri gets, it's going to become a lot more harder for Girl to find these picks, especially that since Zabathor delayed the Lord Dominic's regards. And I'm not even sure if he's going to go at this item, but when he based, I expected to see it, but he picked up the Phantom Dancer instead.
Yeah, interesting choice. Maybe just looking to move through minions a bit better with the Phantom Dancer passive, or just looking to realistically just get a little bit more auto attack speed here, but Jinx is also sitting on this as well and doing a lot of damage to Zabathor here. The Soul Flare is going to come out, but as does the Cleanse. The Monsoon coming out instantly, as does the Q, lands onto Zabathor, flashes out away from the Super Mega Death Rocket, and the E Zenith Blade does actually land onto Zeri. Really important there, but doesn't actually have the Cleanse available just yet. So really, really nice jump in from Preston, hitting a massive stun onto the entirety of Fuji Assassins, and this kill will get donated over to Zabathor. So Girl showing that they can bring this game back if they want.
Just seeing Girl pull the trigger and all of them just go in together is so nice to watch. I mean, you saw Shmugu instantly flash Zenith Blade. He knew the Cleanse was down, and as you saw it as well, Natrix using that Heartbreaker straight away, going in alongside Shmugu, and made Kitsune tried his best, and couldn't keep the Jinx alive. Used that Monsoon way too early. The Unstoppables came through. The Monsoon was displaced. No more HP. Even the Stand United was cancelled. That they just dealt so much damage. They shredded straight through the health bars, and it did really only leave Coven Black and Keking together. But they had
both looking for another fight though here, Steve-O. Keking and Coven Black, maybe looking to engage. Nope. Oh, carry on.
Yeah, but yeah, and then Preston piled in. Everyone just piled straight in. They saw the pick opportunity and they got it. And it's the same. It's basically what Fuji Assassins was doing in the early game, where they saw a pick. There was someone that stepped up just a little bit too far, and then boom, that's it. They all pull the trigger and go as Shmugu. Now, like, unfortunately, out of position that time, and Fuji Assassins pick up the kill. But
Yeah, I mean, Schmuga's been caught out a couple of times, being in the wrong position, maybe looking to get vision or looking to get a potential flank, but it's been unfortunate he's been caught in them situations. We did see Zabatar did actually have to use the Buster shot to just try to escape there. So that won't be available for a little bit of time now, just waiting on that for us to come up. I believe it's like a 100-second cooldown. So just waiting on that to come up now. It does mean the Drake is up in 1 minute 43, but Fuji Assassins don't care about the Drake right now. They just want this Baron buff. Waiting in the wings, though, is Keren looking to engage onto this jungler here. Will manage to just pick it up, maybe. The Stan United coming out from Shen. Really well played to keep his mid laner alive. Preston's going to look to engage. Gets a really nice Frozen Tomb, but I think it was cleansed. Oh, no.
It wasn't cleansed. It was just there.
I'm not sure who Frozen Tomb then, to be honest with you.
I think it was the Jinx, but the Monsoon came out at the right time now, kept him alive. And yeah, just now Girl being taken down, they're trying to defend their inhibitor turret, but I think at this point you just kind of give up your inhibitor and you say, oh, well, you can't really do much about that.
Yeah, but it was really, really well played for Fuji Assassins. That they knew they were a stronger team. They knew they could pick up this Baron here, and it was almost like Girl were forced to fight, so they knew they could just pull that off and get that there. So really, really, really well played by Fuji Assassins, and unfortunate if you're a Girl fan.
Yeah. Girl just falling further and further behind her, 6k, 7k. And you can definitely see it now. The Infinity Edge completed for Zeri. Zeri's now dealing a lot more damage than before. And the LDR now completed on Zabator, so now he's going to start dealing a lot more damage to the likes of Michael Jackson, to Coven Black. And it's all now dependent on, really, I think the next fight. The next fight is going to be big.
Yeah, it does mean that Girl will look to leave this Drake, though, which does actually put Fuji Assassins on 3 Ocean Drakes at this point in the game, and it just puts a lot of pressure on Girl to look for this 4th Drake, deny the soul point. So I know they're not strong enough here, but Preston may get caught out here, spotted by Michael Jackson. Just going to use the Ether and just escape. Very easily done. Michael Jackson does actually now have the Demonic Embrace.
Yeah, it was his first item.
It was his first item. Oh, was it not the Sunfire first?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. Interesting Zach build. Fair enough. Yeah. I didn't even notice that till now. Just saw the burn. Fair enough. I'm mistaken. But yeah, this Zach is so tanky at this point. There's not the passive available though. So if they do look to dive, do wonder if he can survive long enough under the tower shot. So just going to let the minions siege though. Look to just wait for the tower to be taken down. Don't need to force anything just yet.
Double cannon. It's not going to be... And there's Zabator. Zabator caught out. Preston trying to pull the trigger. Not going to be enough. The Monsoon coming out. It's a double kill for Zeri. Michael Jackson is going to get taken quite low, but it's not going to be enough. It's a triple kill for the Jinx, and that's just Jinx in a nutshell. Even without Gale Force, can still do something like that. Triple kill does have the Kraken Slayer instead, obviously, but just deals so much damage, and Girl fall, and this is it. It's 2-0 to Fuji Assassins, and despite us having hope for Girl in game number 2, Fuji Assassins throw all that away, and really, they win the series 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, really, really well played by Fuji Assassins throughout the entirety of the series, realistically. Girl, unfortunately, falling short, but did fantastic to show their dominance, and clearly the new roster is working for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very big first series and a statement series, I'd say, by Fuji Assassins. Girl won the split last season. They come out and they beat them 2-0. We did beat them last season, but this season again, 2-0.
Yeah.
Maybe not a new maybe a new champion of River. Who knows?
Who knows? It's only we've seen the first series on River now, and the first series on Ocean. So still very early on in the season. So pick your favourites if you like, and see who's going to come out there. But I shall put a poll in the chat and see who the MVP is.
In my opinion, it has to be Michael Jackson for both games.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Michael Jackson as well for me.
I think if you don't choose Michael Jackson for both games, then you were watching with the monitor on. Really, because it's in the jungle. Not because Natrix did bad. It was because Michael Jackson just seemingly tracked him extremely well. Was constantly in the right position to cover for his team, and just all around had a very complete jungle performance.
Yeah, really, really did. The poll is up now, guys, so take a vote and see who you think your all-important MVP is for the series, realistically. I think that's probably the best way to go right now. So yeah, take a vote, guys, but it does mean that Girl unfortunately lose their first series, but Fuji Assassins pick up their first win in this new River season. So yeah, looking like it's going to shape up to be a really, really important season, a really, really good season, realistically. But I think we can take a look at the schedule and see what's next, I believe. I have it up right now. Yeah, it's not well.
Oh, we can't play, can we? Because Ascension can't play. So
yeah, so it's meant to be League of Pogma versus Ascension, but the junglers not able.
Unavailable. Yep. Ascension are unavailable to play until, I believe, early April, mid-April. But it's 0-8 versus AMX in Ocean Monday at 8 o'clock, and I believe that I will be. Actually, no, I can't. You'll find out probably tomorrow who is taking up that stream. But yeah, 0-8 versus AMX. That's going to be an interesting one. 2 new teams to CoraL. Anyway, to look at the schedule and standings, if you are in the CoraL team, CoraL team, the CoraL Discord, sorry, then you are you should see a chat called #rosters and standings. I will have to quickly update that one because obviously we've just seen a 2-0, so I will update that one extremely quickly, but I will update it. And,
yeah, for sure. But yeah, that will be us, guys, anyway. So thank you for tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, I believe. Is it 0-8 versus AMX tomorrow, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Peace.